Now in this technical demonstration, we're going to install the Centrify connector. Now I'm going to install the connector on a different machine than where the identity platform is installed. This is an app server. So I'm going to go ahead and use the initial administrator account that I used earlier. And now, as you can see, I'm logged into the Centrify portal and I've received this welcome message. Now I'm not going to use the welcome message and the wizard-based components that are found here for this training. I'm going to go ahead and cancel this, but this is actually a very good way for you to step through the process, to guide you through the importing of Active Directory systems and to create the optional vault of local administrator accounts. But again, I'm not going to use it for this training, so I'm going to just press cancel. And as I mentioned before, we're going to install the Centrify connector. So I can do that from here in the portal. I'll need to scroll down to the bottom under settings. And under settings, I'm going to go over to network, where I'll find Centrify connectors. Now, as you can see here, I don't have any connectors installed, but we'll click this button to add a new connector. Now this is a Windows-based software package, so we will need to install this on a Windows server operating system. So I'm going to go ahead and download by clicking the link. I'll go ahead and close this, but I'm not going to close the portal yet because we are going to verify that the connector is installed once we're completed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and launch the installation package. And once again, you'll see that this is the Centrify connector installation wizard. We'll go ahead and click next and accept the license agreement. Now from here, we can select the specific components that we want to install. For this demonstration, I'm going to install everything, which includes the Centrify connector and all of the mobile tools. We can change the location, of course, where the Centrify connector software is going to be installed. Once again, I'm going to leave this as the default, and I'll simply click next and then install. Now, once the installation is complete, as you can see here, when I click finish, it is going to start the connector configuration wizard. This is going to allow me to configure the connector to speak to the identity platform. So from here, we'll go ahead and I'll click finish. And as you can see, the Centrify connector configuration wizard has launched. Automatically, we'll click next. And now we'll need to add in the information that we set up for our identity platform. So the admin username will be the one we used originally. The admin password, of course, we'll need to supply, and the Centrify service. Now this is going to be the website that we are using for our identity platform. So we'll go ahead and add that in as well. This is a secured site, so we will use the HTTPS, and we'll click next. Now, in the case where a web proxy is used to access the portal, you can check the box and add in that information. For this demonstration, we're not using a web proxy, so we'll go ahead and uncheck the box and click next. We'll now need to set up and activate the Centrify property pages. We're going to use the current credentials because I'm logged in as a domain admin. So we'll go ahead and leave that intact and we'll click next. We'll select the domain and click next. Now you will see this as well. To assign permissions to the connector, the users are going to need to be owners of deleted objects within the container. So we're going to go ahead and change that ownership. It will begin the process of communicating with the identity platform and registering the connector. And now as you can see, the connector setup is complete. The connector is now able to communicate with the identity platform. So we will be able to see it in the platform here in just a second. We'll go ahead and click finish. And what you see here is the Centrify connector configuration. This is a small control panel associated to the Centrify connector. As you can see here, it identifies that the connector has in fact started. There is a status with the last connection time, and it will check for updates. On the connector tab, we can go through the process of re-registering the connector if necessary. We can establish support access for connector logs, and we can set up some update intervals, both for the settings as well as Active Directory. We can set up we can enable the auto update, and once again, we can configure the web proxy if it's needed for the connector. Now, we're not going to make any changes here. Everything is exactly the way we want it for now, so we'll go ahead and press close. And now I'm back to the portal. So what I'm going to do here is I'm simply going to come up to the user profile, and I'm going to ask it to reload its rights. You can do the same thing with a refresh of the page, but this is going to help us navigate through the process. And as you can see, my app server has now been added and is registered as a Centrify connector. Now keep in mind, because we've added it as a connector, it doesn't make it a managed system where we can apply privileged access rights and roles to it. It is simply acting as a connector at this point. If we scroll up under Resources and look at Systems, you'll also notice that that system is not listed. This is because the role that it is playing currently is just that of a connector. We will add the system later, where we'll add privileged access rights for users to access that particular system.